everyone! So I wanted to do something really soft and pretty and glowy and glamorous for Valentine's Day. So if you're interested in seeing how I got this look, just keep watching. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to use this little Rosebud Salve Balm to hydrate our lips. We're just going to leave this sitting while we do the rest of our makeup so our lips are nice and hydrated. So now taking my Morphe 12NB palette, I'm taking this pink color in the top corner and I'm using my Inglot 6SS big fluffy brush to just start applying that in my crease. I'm just going from the outer part of my crease all the way to the inner part using windshield wiper motions and then little circular motions just to make sure that our blend is nice and seamless. I'm just going to keep doing that over and over again until the color is as intense as I want it to be. Now going into this taupey shade from the palette, I'm going to pick up my Morphe M502 brush and I'm going to start applying this color directly into the crease. I'm not going to take it as high as we did with the last color. I want to keep it right underneath of that pinky color that we went in with first. I'm keeping this color on the outer third of my eye and then I'm just applying some of it in the outer V of my eye also. I'm just applying it using windshield wiper motions and then little circular motions to make sure it's nice and blended. I'm just going to keep doing this over and over until it is up to the intensity that I want it to be. Then taking my big fluffy Inglot brush, I'm just going to go in and make sure that everything is nice and blended together. I'm then going to pick up the darkest matte brown shadow from the palette and my Morphe M321 brush and I'm just going to start packing that color on in the outer V of my eye. I'm going to pack on as much product as possible and then take my fluffy brush and just use that to start blending it out using little circular motions. I'm mostly keeping it on the outer V of my eye, but I'm also pressing it up into my crease a little bit, but not taking it too high, of course. And we're just going to keep doing that over and over again. Pack, 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 blend, 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 until it's as dark as we want it to be. And then, of course, I just take my big fluffy brush to make sure that everything is nice and blended. Going into that dark burgundy shade in the palette with that same little Morphe brush, we're going to start to pack that burgundy color all along the lash line. I'm not taking it all the way across my lash line though. I'm keeping it on the outer half of my lash line, so I'm just packing it on and blending it out with a fluffy brush. So we're going to do the same thing over and over again. Pack, 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 blend, 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 until it is as dark as we want it to be. Just keep blending. If you're starting to look like a zombie, you're on the right track. So now, of course, we're going to take our big fluffy brush and make sure that everything is nice and blended together. I'm now going to pick up this Colorpop eyeshadow in the color Weenie, which is a really pretty rosy gold color. I'm going to apply it with my finger because I feel like these eyeshadows just apply so much better with your finger. I'm going to pack it on really heavily on my lid in the areas where we have not applied any shadow yet, so in the middle of my eye and in the inner more part of my eye. And then using whatever's left over on my finger, I'm just going to lightly go over that smokiness that we already put on the outer part of the eye, because it'll just soften it up and make it look like a more natural smokiness as opposed to a really intense smokiness. Now going in with my Morphe M507 brush, I'm just going to pick up a little bit of that weenie color and start diffusing out the edge of my crease, just to make sure that we don't have a sharp line and that the weenie color is nice and blended with our crease color. And then I am, of course, going to pick up our big fluffy brush and just make sure that everything is nice and blended. Then I decided that I wanted it to be just a little more smoky, so I picked up that second color that we used from the palette, the taupey type color, and I'm just applying a little bit more of that right into my crease and blending it out with our fluffy brush. Now I'm just going to clean up any fall off from under my eyes, and I'm going to get ready to start working on my face.
Here we go!
Now going into my Clinique Dramatically Different Moisturizing Lotion, I'm just going to moisturize my face. You can use whatever moisturizer you want. This one just absorbs into your skin super fast. We're now going to prime our face with our Nivea Post Shave Balm. Give it a good shake before. And I like to rub this into my face, and then once it starts drying, start pressing it in. And you'll feel it start to get tacky, and that's when you know it's time. Using my Maybelline Matte and Poreless Foundation and a Real Techniques Beauty Sponge, I'm just going to start pressing in my foundation all over my face. You want to make sure that you're pressing in and not rubbing your face. If you start rubbing, that's when you're going to get those streaks and all those ugly lines on your face. And if you just keep pressing in, you'll have a nice airbrushed finish. And this is where my hair got in the way, so I put it in a ponytail right now. There it is. Using my LA Girl Pro Concealer in the orange Corrector color, I'm just going to start correcting my under eyes. I'm going to put a little bit right under my eyes where I get the most darkness, and then start using my fingers to press it in. Never rub. Your under eyes are super sensitive. Just press in until it's nice and blended. Now going on with my Urban Decay Naked Skin Concealer, I'm going to start applying that. Wow, look at those forehead wrinkles. Buff those out. Okay, now we can move on with our life. So, we're going to start applying that in like a little triangular motion. I use the tip to clean up the edges of my eyeshadow, and I always put a little strip down the side of my nose, because when we blend it out, it'll instantly give us a little mini nose job and make our noses look a little slimmer.
Invincible.
Press, press, press. Never pull. Just keep pressing. So before my under eyes even have the chance to crease, I'm going to go ahead and buff out any extra product. And I'm going to use my MAC PREP+PRIME Transparent Finishing Powder to bake all under my eyes to really set it and to avoid any creasing throughout the day. Now I'm just going to highlight all the high points of my face, so the middle of my forehead, down my nose, my cupid's bow, and my chin. And then I'm going to use my sponge to just press all of that in. You guys already saw how creasy my forehead gets. I just use my face too much. What can I say? So I'm definitely baking my forehead, and I'm also going to bake my smile lines because I tend to crease there also. Just going to drink some more water because all this baking has got me parched. I'm going to take my LA Girl Pro Concealer in the color Toast and use that to start carving out my cheekbones. I'm just going right underneath of the natural bone that I already have there and drawing a nice sharp line to make my face look a little bit more defined. I'm also going to draw a couple little lines on my temple to help slim my face down just a tad. Following my natural jawline, I'm just going to carve that out a tad to, again, make my face look just a little bit more defined. And I'm going to put a little bit on my under chin also, to get rid of that little papa that we all love so much. And now I'm just pressing everything in with a blender to blend it out. gonna wipe away all the extra powder. Be careful, don't suffocate. Happened to me, it's okay. Now I'm just going to add a little bit more of that LA Girl concealer around my hairline and blend it in with my blender to add a natural shadow around the edges of my face. And then I got a super terrible itch on my eye and I was freaking out, but I got it and I didn't mess up my eyeshadow. Yes, winning. Going with my BECCA Shimmering Skin Perfector in the color Moonstone. I'm just going to put a pea size in the back of my hand and use a little mini blender to start applying that all along my cheekbone. Again, I'm just following the natural line of my cheekbone, and then I'm using the back bottom side of it to blend it out. I'm also going to apply this around my eye and up to the sides of my eyebrow just to add a little bit more of a highlight.
Invincible.
Then of course I'm going to apply some of this to the tip of my nose and to my cupid's bow and then blend it all out. Now mixing together my Ofra banana powder and my MAC Pro Emphasize powder, I'm just going to start further setting all of the places that I applied concealer. So under my eyes, down my nose, on my forehead, the sides of my nose, and my chin. I'm trying to avoid the area that we just put that cream highlighter. So I'm keeping this powder right on top of that and not covering the highlighter with this powder. Now I'm just going in with my Sephora bronzer in the color Fiji and my Morphe M530 brush, which is amazeballs for what I'm doing right now. I'm just further carving out my contour. So I'm just really following the contour that I had already done with the cream. I'm just setting it all with powder. And then using little circular motions, I'm just going to make sure that everything is nice and blended and we have no harsh lines. Using my MAC Give Me Sun bronzer and my MAC 135 brush, I'm just going to warm up my face. I'm basically going over all the areas that I put my contour. I'm just not being as precise. I'm being a lot messier because I just want my face to be a little bit more bronzed and warm and sun-kissed. Going in now with my favorite stippling brush ever from BH Cosmetics, I'm just going to make sure that everything is nice and blended all the way across my face. I'm then going to pick up this little wedge sponge and a little bit more of that MAC translucent powder and just start carving out my contour. I'm just going to bake a little bit underneath of that to make sure that it's really nice and clean and sharp.
Here we go!
Now using that taupey color from the palette and my Morphe E36 brush, I'm going to start to smoke out my lower lash line and taking this from the outermost part of my eye all the way to the innermost part of my eye. Then I felt all the eyeshadow on my eye and I was like, but it's okay. Now I'm going to pick up that darkest matte color from the palette and a little short flat brush, and I'm going to start applying that right along my lash line. I'm keeping this only on the outer half of my lash line. I'm not taking this all the way in like I did with the other color. I'm also going to apply this on the outer half of my lash line on the top, just to add a little nice soft smokiness to the eye look. Now taking my Anastasia Beverly Hills cream color in the color Honey, I'm just going to use a little flat brush that I do not know the name of to line my waterline. I love using this to line my waterline because it does not move. It dries there and it lasts all night, which is awesome. Then I'm just going to wipe off all this bakage that I have going on. If you did not notice, I put my eyebrows on, which were not there before, and I threw on some lashes. I'm now just going to apply some mascara to my bottom lashes before I move on. Using BECCA Cosmetics and JACLYN Hill's Champagne Pop, which in my opinion is the best highlighter in the entire world, I'm going to go ahead and highlight my face. I'm just going along my cheekbones in the same place where we had applied the cream highlight before. Once the brush is no longer depositing product, I just like to use the tip of it and use little circular motions to make sure it is, of course, nice and blended. I'm also going to apply a little bit around the sides of my eye and on top of my eyebrows. Then I'm just going to apply a little to the tip of my nose and to my cupid's bow, and then I realized, whoo, way too much of my cupid's bow, but it's okay. I blended it out. And please ignore my middle finger. That was an accident. I love you guys. Sorry. Going in with MAC's blush in the color Prism, I'm just going to start blushing up my cheeks. When I put on my blush, I like to use more of like a U motion to really accentuate my cheekbones as opposed to just going straight up my face. I like to kind of make a U to make the apples of my cheeks look a little bit bigger. I'm just going to make sure everything is nice and blended using my stippling brush once again. And then I'm going to start applying my lip liner. I'm using the NYX Lip Liner in the color Natural. Now I'm just going to apply Anastasia Beverly Hills liquid lipstick in the color Pure Hollywood all over my lips. And somehow I forgot to highlight my inner corners, which I don't even know how that happened, but I took a little bit of Champagne Pop and put it on my inner corners. And now I'm just using the Anastasia Beverly Hills lip gloss in the color Undressed, which I love. This is the final look. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up, and happy Valentine's Day!